And a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Week in Focus. You were just on time for us to review the week that was. A very eventful one, if I may, with the IEBC preparedness for the 2022 general elections. This is the last week of registration. Only 700,000 people registered out of a possible 6 million registration of voters, and also be looking at the cabinet secretaries who have been called out for being involved in politics. And finally, we'll be taking a look at Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, who decamped from Jubilee to UDA. Right next to me is Lucky Ondo, a political analyst, Karibu, and Eliud Nadimai, political commentator. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, help me review this week that was. And we're starting off by talking about the IEBC, and this being the last week of registration. Voter apathy has been witnessed throughout this 1 month that IEBC has set out to register 6 million new voters. So, Eliud, if I can start with you, what are your thoughts on the deadline now being in the 2nd of November?
Nelima, this, it's so interesting that it happens when we are approaching the electioneering period, and that is when people will be calling for, mass voter registration, and the IEBC will now tell us that, we don't have enough money to do this. But remember, their work is to be registering people each and every time when someone gets of age and he qualifies to be a registered voter. They should ensure that, this process is continuous. It's not just an event when we are approaching the election, but this process should be enforced throughout, that when someone registers, or rather applies for an ID and is given an ID at the same place, this person can be facilitated with a room to register as a voter, so that you walk away with your 2 cards, as one ID and another one voter registration card, so that we minimize on these issues of trying to run and trying to compete with time when we are approaching election. I saw it happening that they will not even reach that target. But also it is incumbent upon the citizen and those people who feel that they are of age to participate in their civic duty as citizens of this country, so that they can effect change. I hear some people saying, I don't need to register as a voter, and I don't need to vote because these people are doing nothing. They are doing nothing because you're not participating to get a good leader, to elect a good leader. And it doesn't make it doesn't make you great by trying to avoid your civic duty, and it doesn't make you look like you better than others who elect these poor leaders or bad leaders. So this is Kenyans need to be sensitized. They need to have a civic education to ensure that these people understand their civic duty, that it is not about, it's not just complaining about those leaders. What are you doing in your capacity as a citizen to ensure that you get good leaders? You can't just get them when you're saying, I don't want to participate, because they will just win, or they will just steal, they will just do all other shenanigans. You have to take part and ensure that you have the card and you're going to participate in your civic duty.
It is your responsibility.
It is your responsibility.
Okay. Your thoughts, Lucky?
You see, Nelima, there are so many reasons why Kenyans are turning away from voter registration. And if those issues are not addressed, that's why you are seeing that low voter turnout throughout the counties, or the 47 counties, or throughout Kenya. Because for one, the people does not know the importance of voting. So they should be sensitized on the importance of voting. Another thing is this thing we call election malpractices. Election malpractices, they discourage the people from voting, because we will find some people saying that even if we vote, it's already decided who shall take this position. So that makes people shun away from voter registration. The third reason is this handout mentality. There are those politicians who have already, some are transferring the vote, some are registering people, and they are paying them. So you see somebody is just waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to come and pay me
so that I can go
and register. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the reasons why this is happening in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
And IEBC was targeting new voters. So between 2017 and right now, there's so many people, about 6 million people who have turned 18 years of age. So these are young people. And as Lucky has mentioned, the culture of handouts, do you think it's one big effect to these low numbers that are being registered?
This is my opinion, Nelima. I do not think that the issue should be handouts that will make some people not participate. I think we have not educated these people. We are slugging in civic duty, civic education, so that these people, when you give them information, you teach them, you educate them about their civic duty. These young people will get it done, and they will not care about the handouts, because either way, I'll have that as a weapon. I have my voter's card. Then I know I'll just eat wherever I want, but I know that I'll be the final decision maker. So I think the issue is civic education and also timing. You see, people right now, they have been affected by COVID. People are trying, struggling, going out to find something, kibaruas around, So these people, they don't have time to go and register, and you're only giving them a month, and they also need to go to move forward with their lives. So that's why I'm saying we need to institutionalize these issues so that we have proper institutions that deal with these things permanently. And IEBC, I think they're sleeping on their job, because how comes you just give us 1 month to expect to register 5 million voters, new voter members, then you are not giving enough time, because these people are like, today they operate on Monday to Saturday, I think so, and that is when people are working, So we expect that this thing should be done continuously and with proper time. But the issue of handout, I think it should not be an issue to discuss that will scare people from registering. I think it is even something that encourages people to go and register as a voter, because they feel like if I have a card and I meet a politician, I'll get something from them. So I don't think that issue of handout is the real problem. The real problem is the institutions. They are not working. They are not doing their job properly. And they are not sensitizing these young people. These are young people that they are going to participate for the first time in their civic duty. Right. And you're not giving them enough and proper information that will inform their decision, so that when they go to that booth to make their decision to vote, they are going to do it well. And it is not just going to vote. There are many forms of, participating in your country's civic duties. It's not about voting. You can, disapprove of something, some actions of the government. Then you come out and you condemn that thing strongly, and you embarrass the politician of the day, so that you are actively participating. But we have made this issue about election, that you go take a card, voter card, then go and vote. Who are we voting in? Do we have enough information that these people we are going to vote in, they are going to deliver? Can we summon these people and ensure that they are working and put them on their toes?
Right.
That is not happening. So let us not blame the handouts.
Okay.
I think, Nelima, just to add on that, I think some people somewhere are sleeping on their job, because when I was trying to talk on handouts, maybe my learned friend did not get me well. I'm saying some politicians have made the public to understand that in order to register, you must be handed something. So there are people with the votes, yes, with the IDs, yes, but they are waiting for a politician to take them to a polling station on a payment basis. Yeah. Okay. I'm on the ground and in something that I've analyzed.
Okay.
Yes.
And speaking of national IDs, IEBC gave the reports earlier this week that only a tenth of the targeted numbers across the counties have been registered. And they said one big reason is identity cards. A lot of Kenyans don't have the identity cards. So those who turned 18 in between 2017 and right now, ID cards. And these are young people, and we're living at a time where acquiring an identity card as a Kenyan citizen is very easy. We have very many platforms, even Huduma Center, and of course, even at the county level, the chiefs are still issuing the same. So why are we still registering very low number of ID card holders?
Okay. Nelima, if I may go first, Nelima, the other time we had Dr. Matiang'i telling us that how ID application will be taking one day, and people are very happy that you know, service delivery is you know, taking its course. But the problem in this country is that we always talk about reforms when there is a crisis, but when things start to get better, or people start forgetting that, or there's a trending news and people forget about it, then we abandon that mission. So that is the problem. It was a good idea that we are going to ensure that you just apply today, tomorrow you have your card, and they're in that capacity. They have that capacity to ensure that people can get their IDs. But the issue is corruption. This is something that we must condemn, because you go to chief's camp, or rather to the district commission, yeah, offices, to apply for ID, and you are being subjected to all the manual application system. Right. But they have that machine there that you can apply directly on the machine, then you have your ID immediately. But they reserve for some people, so they will ask you whether you need it so urgently, and if you need it so urgently, then you must facilitate, and they will ensure you get it urgently. And you know, if you don't, they will say machine has a problem. It's not working. But if someone gives something, that machine starts working. So that is a problem. Corruption is everywhere, and you know, just talking about it doesn't help at all. We need to find a solution. We need to have a strong systems in place, so that this thing, we don't need to have manual and having manual application, then we have a digital application at the same time. You know, people will try to, you know, to vandalize the digital one, so that you beg them, and you'll find yourself so desperate to the extent of, you know, giving bribes so that you can have your ID immediately. So that is a problem, Nelima.
Right. Nelima, to add on what Eliud has said, our systems are not in order, because for one, I think we have the provincial administration was somehow replaced, but is still in place.
Yeah.
We have the chiefs, we have the assistant chiefs, we have the headmen. They know each and every home. And they know all the maybe children around their areas of jurisdictions. Maybe, okay, on that issue, I think one thing, apart from just giving the education about the registration of ID, they have to take the steps, because some of those IDs are lying there, and they know those people, they know those homes that are not taking them, because maybe, as my friend has just stated, maybe they are waiting for somebody who can come with something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there's such a large number of identity cards that have not been collected.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Isn't it the responsibility of us as citizens to go and collect the ID, because it is an important document?
You see, one thing, most Kenyans don't know the use of the ID, because maybe you live in the rural area. What will you carry the ID for? IDs maybe they are mainly used in towns, where maybe you will enter some offices where IDs are needed. But in rural areas, most of people don't need those IDs. Maybe they just use them for voter registration, most likely, and maybe when they are traveling. So maybe somebody will just collect that ID when maybe he or she has applied for a job somewhere, he or she is traveling somewhere, or maybe because of voter registration. But I think even people should be forced to collect those IDs, or they should be taken to them.
Nelima, if I may add on, I don't really think people, they don't know the need of having an ID. I think the system is poor, because I'm going to apply an ID and I'm told you will come this day or next week to check your ID, it will be ready. I go there, I'm told it's not there. Even they don't bother to check, they just dismiss me at the door. Then I go, then I come back again, it's not there. I'll give up, because we need to have a system whereby when ID is ready, you can be notified and you can go and collect. Remember the other day before the Uduma was annulled, last year, they said the Uduma cards are ready. And you find that, you applied your Uduma while in Nairobi, but you'll find your card is just somewhere else you even don't know. So that is a problem, because how can we ensure that we are, I'm coming here to register you here, or you're applying here your ID, but then you don't get it here, you are being referred to somewhere else. And this person, when you have applied an ID, you always leave there your information. Why can't they reach you? Why can't they use those chiefs to give out these IDs? Because they know these people. Yeah? You can't just say it is there and we can't find people. Right. So the system is poor. We need to have a communication, whereby, I apply, I'm being informed, I can track my application, so that when it is due for collection, I'll just walk in and collect. But if I don't have information, you're not communicating, how will I know that my ID is ready and I need to collect?
Okay. And the registration, counties that are usually vote-rich, like the Mount Kenya region, has lagged behind in this exercise. What are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts is that maybe they don't have one of their own in the presidential race. That might be one of the reasons. Yeah.
Okay. Eliud?
Yes, that could be a reason, but then there are many things you can read when you're talking about Mount Kenya, because these are the people that have been in government for quite some time. Their tribal men have been leading this country for quite some time, but they have been, affected equally as any other place. And, these are people who have been voting in large numbers, turning out to vote, but they have been affected. Remember, in this current regime, which is, ending next year, many people from Mount Kenya, we understand that they are business people. They have lost their business, they have lost their livelihood. People are struggling, auctioneers on their door every time. So I think it might be that, we feel like we are there, but we don't belong. And we've been trying to, to find a government that will take care of our interests. But this government seems like it doesn't care about us. So what do? We don't care anymore. That is a we don't care attitude. But I think that should not be the solution. I think we just need to do our, our civic duty. We need to come out. Even if we've been failed by another regime, let us just come and be the change that we want to see. We can't just keep on complaining.
Okay. And IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, he faced the finance committee where he was asking for more money, because the IEBC had requested for 4 billion and they had only been given 1.2 billion, which is actually the reason Chebukati says they will not be able to extend the voter registration period because of lack of funds. So do you think, because our elections are said to be among the most expensive, so do you think the IEBC is asking for too much, or do we need the money so that we can extend the voter registration exercise?
I think it's not too much. We need that money. Because if you see, for example, putting officers to register voters, at least 2 per polling station, or in all countries, in all counties countrywide, it can be very expensive because they all need to be paid. They need to facilitate it, they need the transport, the kits, and many other things.
Right.
Yeah.
I might hold a different opinion because, you know, why is it that, you know, this Chebukati will only come out complain about, you know, lack of funds to facilitate voter registration during election period? Because he know that at that point, if he makes a demand, everyone will be supporting that, you know, that request. But he's forgetting that we have IEBC offices all over the country, and these offices need to be active. What are they doing when it's not electioneering period? What do they normally do? These offices should be open. They should, you know, people should be walking in any time of the day to register as a voter. It's not about, you know, just electioneering period, then you give us demands, and, you know, we are surviving in a country whose economy is, you know, has risen, and people are losing their livelihood. So you can't just come and demand those billions during the electioneering period, because you know that at that time they will give you, they will approve, because everyone, the politicians, they are key players in these, you know, these issues, and they will ensure that they have numbers to vote them in. So that your demand will be given, but you need to be consistent as the chair of IEBC, that after election you continuously register people, continuously empower those offices, human resource, so that we have enough staffs, we have enough kids to, you know, to register those people. You've seen the turnout. People are going there 2, 3, 1. Yeah, those are the people can be attended to in their office somewhere. You know, you have your offices, for example, you know, maybe you come from Roysambu constituency, the offices are in, you know, Kaha West. I think they just need to have like 2 or 3 offices around, so that it can take care of the people's in that place. You don't need to have several places, and you're registering only 2 or 3 voters per day. So what are you doing? You are wasting resources. But if you empower that office to handle many numbers, and you have enough staffs, you won't be demanding this money at every, you know, electioneering period. I think he's not sincere and honest, and he's not, you know, has not been doing they have not been doing their job from the word go.
I think before we much criticize the IEBC, there's something, my friend, you need to understand. The voter registration is always a continuous process in Kenya, but it normally happens only at the constituency levels. But now what they are doing mass registration. Yes. That's what's being taken to the polling centers. So at least you also need to understand that before you criticize them.
Yes, I'm not criticizing them.
So you can't say that they have not been doing, that they have been doing nothing.
You know, what I'm saying, we're having these offices, IEBC offices in the constituency levels. People come from those constituency, yeah? There's nothing like people from the national, so that you have mass registration, because you must register in your constituency. So if those offices are not proactive, you've not, you know, you don't have enough human resource in a continuous process, so that every time people can go there and register. So those people are just being in that office, being paid, and they are not doing their job because they don't have enough job, because they are not registering.
Your thoughts are, if the process could be continuous, we wouldn't even have to have a mass registration exercise.
We don't need a mass registration. Continuous. Yes, I understand. And the law says we need to have mass voter registration. And I'm saying that it is not a bad thing, but assuming we have a time limit of, you know, we've been given 1 month to have a mass voter registration, and we are targeting, you know, 5 million. Where did they come with these numbers? Because they are assuming for the past 5 years, people have not registered to be voters. Right. Why have not they been registered? We have been having the offices open in their constituency. What are they doing? They have not been sensitizing people each and every time to register. They only wait until electioneering period. Then they demand a lot of money. Maybe when the government is struggling, even with their debt ceiling, you know, we don't have that kind of much. But assuming you are, you know, you are active, advising people and encouraging people to register as voters throughout the season, you won't need so much. They won't be speaking of 5 million, maybe just 1 million or what for mass voter registration, which won't cost so much.
Okay,
but now you see,
very briefly because we have to take a break.
Okay.
Yes, just go on.
Okay, I was saying, if we do that continuous process, you see, it will be also very expensive.
But not
for
so
me,
much.
On registration, I cannot blame the IEBC.
Are in those offices. What are they doing?
But I'll just blame the voters, because we are told you can even register, you can even transfer your vote even at the Huduma Center. You see.
Yes.
So are there voters that are sleeping?
Not really voters. It is the system is not working, because you can't just blame voters. These voters are not being sensitized every time that you need to go and register. Some people, they don't know that we have IEBC offices in the constituency. These are young people joining. They are participating. They want to participate in election for the first time. They just know that during electioneering period, because that is what they have meant to understand, and have seeing it happen throughout the years, that during election period, people will come and register in mass. But they are forgetting that they are not aware that we have those offices in operation in constituency, so that anytime you feel free, you can go and register. You don't need to wait for the last minute.
But you see, Kenya is a land of opportunities. So these voters, they just need to capitalize on that small chance of registering and do it.
But they don't.
Because we can't do the same things every time.
Okay, fine. Yeah. We do have to take a very short break here on the Week in Focus, but there's so much more to talk about. Waiguru joining UDA, and of course the cabinet secretaries that have been mentioned to be involved a lot more in politics than taking care of their own dockets. Don't go too far.
Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700-893-542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off.
Hey.
How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Yeah. Are you looking to turn your passion to purpose? Vera Beauty and Fashion College now brings you online classes at the comfort of your home. We are a TVET-approved institution with over 20 years experience in training competency-based courses in fashion design and creative arts, cosmetology, hairdressing, beauty therapy, interior design in soft furnishings, event decoration and flower arrangement, hospitality and catering, and training of trainers. To enroll, call us today on 0704 577 577 or visit our website at www.verabeautycollege.com. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a center of excellence.
Help me identify a beautiful woman. I never came across one till I got to Vera.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Look Up TV. The hashtag is the Week in Focus. Nancy Nelima here, ready to review the week that has been. And right about now, we are going to be talking about Waiguru joining UDA. But just before that, let's switch gears. All right, next to me is Lucky Oundo and, of course, Nancy, political analyst and political commentator. And before the break, we were talking about IEBC, just the preparedness. And we saw earlier in the week Wafula Chebukati in an event that he was giving, just basically the progress that IEBC, of course, the 800,000 registered voters, just breaking down of the numbers and the preparedness in an event that saw Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, we saw Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru, PS Kibicho, and they have been called out to be interfering with the process, the IEBC. What are your thoughts, Eliud?
Nelima, first, you know, in that event, you know, they selected a multi-agency team that will be overseeing, you know.
By the Chief Justice.
Supervising the election processes, and we saw even the CJ being nominated, being selected to that multi-agency team, and you know, this was done by Fred Matiang'i, who's a interior coordinator. And someone can read malice because this is someone who's preparing multi-agency team that is going to supervise and ensure that the election is working well, and they will have their own strategies to ensure that the election will go well. And these are the same people fronting the aspirants of this election and campaigning for them. You know, what does it show us? It shows us an administration which can do anything to interfere with the election, because you are not you are not independent. You can be swayed by the emotion. I'm campaigning for someone, and I'm putting on board measures to ensure that this election will go as I want to. I can easily sneak in some some things that will interfere with the election. So I think it is improper for the cabinet secretaries to engage themselves in active politics, because the makers of this constitution, the framers, they didn't see that happening. They saw it happening, and they provided that as a cabinet secretary, you should not be a politician and you should not participate in politics. Yours is just, policy making in your ministry. So when you go to the politics, then you are interfering with the politics. I saw Joe Musheru the other day calling out the deputy president and asking people not to vote for him. And he's the same person in charge of ICT for transmission of election. And so let's not just base on that. Even the judiciary, I think they are not also doing their job. If they engage themselves in politics, and they are the one who will preside over if any matter arises out of the conflict arising out of that election. Right. So where is your interest? There will be conflict of interest, and I think the CJ is just being naive, and it is not a good thing, because being we have separation of powers, that the executive, they have to do their job, the parliament have to do their job, and the judiciary have to do their job. But if you come together in the election, which is a process, and you being part of that process, and that process maybe it be questioned by one contester in that election, questions the process and says that the process was flawed, and the matter goes to court, and it goes even to the Supreme Court. Right. And you are the presiding judge, you are the CJ. How are you going to be independent? How will you assure Kenyans that I am independent as much as I was part of the flawed process or the question process? I will give an independent opinion. Or rather, you might not even preside over that matter. Maybe you will form a tribunal, or you appoint a bench to deal with that matter. You will appoint, and that the conflict arising out of that, it is questioning that process, which you are part of it, which means it says that you didn't, in your multi-agency team, you failed to do some things, and they are questioning you are not credible enough. Right. Then you select a team that in the judiciary, a bench of judges that will go and determine that matter, and you will find you might not even find your men to take care. You might not find your men to take care of that case, but then how will you convince Kenyans that those people I appointed to handle those matters, they were independent? We fail at that point.
And Nelima, allow me to just say that those people who are complaining that maybe government ministers are engaging in politics, one thing, maybe they are just people who are sensing defeat. Because one thing we should know, that even these ministers, they are Kenyans. And but when they were, you can't let him go. Let me just go with that. Okay. Let me just finish. I gave you your time. You gave your time.
But Nelima, we have the Constitution. The Constitution clearly says that as a cabinet secretary, you should not, because if you go there, you will not be, you will not be independent, because you are on the other side supporting this. But here, there will be conflict of interest. And
so you see, Nelima, once a politician, always a politician. You see these people, the same cabinet secretaries, they were politicians. They were once MPs, some were once governors, some were once senators. So they are selected. Once the same constitution allows the president to appoint ministers from the politicians. So once they are appointed, what do you expect them to do? You see, somebody can just complain that such and such a minister is engaging in politics simply because maybe he's not supporting his or her side. Because, for instance, you see, who was the first minister in Kenya under this government to start engaging in politics? It was Kiunjuri. And because he was on the other side, they were not complaining. And why are they now complaining now? Because these people now, they are not on their side. Another thing, if you look at these ministers, they are not always going there for the sake of engaging in politics. You see, when a president goes somewhere, he goes with the ministers. He's on an official duty. And for example, if you come to this famous handshake between President Uhuru and the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, you see, after this handshake, it's like Raila Amolo Odinga is also working in the government. So when he's going somewhere, he also needs those ministers to escort him to those duties. Yeah, for example, recently he was donating some X-ray machines in Kiambu. You see, he needed those ministers to be there.
On which basis is Raila doing those things? Do we have a constitution in place? Is he taking up the role of the president? Now, who is the president in charge of the government?
But in general,
we cannot have someone who is not given power. Remember, the constitution says the sovereign power belongs to the citizens, to the people of Kenya, and they're the one to decide. And they have decided and given power to the elected leaders to represent them. Raila is not elected. He doesn't hold any public office in this country. He cannot therefore be escorted by the cabinet secretaries, and this gentleman, the former prime minister, is campaigning for his election, and is being escorted by the cabinet secretaries. These cabinet secretaries are using the public resources to support someone who is competing in election and who is not a leader. So which means they are using the resources to campaign for someone instead of using resources to advance on the matters Kenya. So that is a problem. I think
understand. Very briefly, so we move on to the next.
Eliud is taking most of my time. Because I give him his time. When this is my time, he starts interfering.
Well.
This is what I want to say. The prime minister, the former prime minister,
yes,
as it is, or as the way he's working, you are calling it campaign. But for him, he has not declared that he's contesting for any seat.
Nelima, what do you understand by Napanda Mulima?
Just give me my time. You see, the other thing is also that, you see, the president, you cannot choose for the president whom to work with. The president has the powers to choose who to work with.
Yes.
Yeah. What Raila is doing, he's trying to sell the Azimio la Umoja.
What does it mean?
It means uniting Kenyans. He has not mentioned anywhere that he's contesting for any seat. He does not hold any public office.
Okay, fine. He might not have mentioned directly, but
in fact, I heard him saying yesterday.
The other day, he was saying, "If you give me, I be the president, I'm going to give out 6,000 to, unemployed people." Are you giving out, why are you asking Kenyans?
You see what he was saying yesterday? What he was saying yesterday?
That is campaign.
I think, maybe just my question as it was, do you think if the cabinet secretaries are involved in, say, campaigns, when Raila was away, we saw Mutai Kagwe, we saw Eugene Wamalwa, different cabinet secretaries being part of the process. So do you think that's valid?
Okay, what I want to say, Raila was not on campaign. Okay. He has not officially launched his campaign.
But Nelima, you see, he's moving away from
saying
the question.
That Eugene Wamalwa is campaigning for Raila Odinga, or Matiang'i is campaigning for Raila Odinga. To me, I can say that's a rumors or hearsay, because they have not publicly stood and declared that we are supporting Raila for president, because after all, Raila has not declared his candidature. How can you support someone who is not contesting?
We are supporting Raila.
In fact, I heard Raila saying yesterday that he will not go on the ballot to the troops who are not prepared.
What does it mean? I'm going to the ballot, but I'm giving demands that
he hasn't declared going to the ballot.
But Nelima, moving forward, just a quick one. I think my friend here is saying that people who are calling out these cabinet secretaries, where were they during Nani Kiunjuri's regime when he was campaigning? But you see, these guys who are calling out, Rigathi Gachagua the other day, who called out this
Dini Nyoro,
these people are just saying you can reassign them to another position which will not interfere with the election, because there will be a conflict of interest. Remember, Matiang'i is chairing the committee on election preparation, and is making putting on measures to ensure that it's going to work. And this is the same person who is going to campaign for someone. So how can you can be independent, we don't care about it, but how can you convince people when someone raises an issue that I feel that there was a conflict of interest because he was in charge of this side and he was campaigning for this. So those are the questions that we need to address. So he's saying, please, reassign them to another ministry where they will not be part of the election processes, so that we can't witness a conflict of interest.
Okay.
But now just to have them there and they are doing this, it's not fair.
Election is still 10 months to go. And if you see these things...
But it is a process, 10 months is just an event.
Very briefly, we have to move on to the next topic.
Election has 10 months to go. And you see by February, most of these ministers will not be in those positions. Two, the election period has not been declared. You see?
What do you mean? The IEBC gave us a calendar of events and they have started, they are procuring already, they have given a tender to someone. This is a process, and this process will determine the outcome of the election. And that is why the election was nullified in 2017, because the problem, the process was flawed. They didn't follow the procedure. But the election happened and, you have to annul because you didn't follow the process. We say the law should be should be procedural and substantive. You can't just give us a substantive now, the voting day and counting, but you're not giving us the problem, the process leading to that event. So that's why we are saying whatever they are doing right now can affect the outcome of the election, because assuming you're giving a tender to someone who is a compromise and who will print papers without security features so that some people can sneak in, we will question at the end. So we are saying the process is not followed.
It's not the ministers who are printing the ballot papers, it's the IEBC.
They are in that committee that they are influencing who can get that tender. So that is a question that we need to
Let's move the conversation forward, and you can also join the conversation. Hashtag Weekend Focus at Lookup TV on Twitter and Lookup TV on Facebook. Now let's switch gears, still in politics, but Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has decamped the ruling party Jubilee and moved to UDA, which is the Deputy President William Ruto's party. And now, Director, if you can hear me, we can just have that up sound right there of Waiguru when she was welcomed.
You see, this thing is very interesting.
Just a moment, we have the video.
I have checked with many of the members sitting here. I have checked with others who are not here. I've even checked with people who are still on the other side, who haven't officially said they are moving. I have asked, is it betrayal if I moved? But the message that I have been given by everybody I have talked to is that in politics, you must be very careful to stay relevant. You must be very careful to listen to the people. Because if you do not listen to the people, never imagine as a leader, you're the one who tells the people. The people are the ones who tell you. They decide who they are going to elect very early in advance. If you go to the wards, you'll hear them saying, this one we will not elect. This one we will not elect this one. We will not elect, this one we are electing. It's them who decide. And when they decide is when you decide to stand. You don't hear them saying they're not going to elect you and you still insist that you're going, utaanguka. So we have listened, and Kirinyaga, I think, spoke. And the last speaking in Kirinyaga was Mashujade. Anybody who had any doubts of where that ground of Kirinyaga was, anyone, they had it for themselves. They saw it for themselves. We even saw you were a bit startled yourself. We could see, and I've always said you have great humility. Because you did not chest stamp, you received it well. But that is why the people love you. So sisi tumeamua, tumevuka. Nimesikia chama ni UDA na form ni na form ni hustler.
Right, that is Kirinyaga Governor Waiguru, and she has decamped the Jubilee Party to UDA, and she says now Chamani hustler. So that move, we've seen her before insinuating that she was going to make the move, and she had said that she was going to listen to her people. And now as she moved to the UDA, she says that she had to look at the temperatures and what the people who are the voters who determine her leadership have spoken. And so she has decamped. What are your thoughts on that move?
Nelima, first, in introduction, you said she has joined the Deputy President's party. I think these peoples of Kenya's party, you know, we have many people there. We can't just, you know, allocate the monopoly of leadership to Deputy President. It entails all of us. And I think we welcome the Governor Kirinyaga to UDA, but she must remember that democracy will take its course in the party. So, you know, her move was to ensure that she's going to be actively in the politics. You remember in her words, she's saying, you have to listen to people, they tell you where to go, or else utaanguka. What does it mean? Are you coming with an agenda, or are you just coming to be in that party so that you can win, usianguke? So those are the issues that we need to consult, to analyze. Remember, Nani Ngirishi, the woman rep, has been so vocal in UDA, and he has managed the ground very well, and Mother Karua is on the other side being the spokesperson of Mulima Kenya. So, you know, you remain in between. You become irrelevant because you will not be given that air, because someone is, the party is on the ground and is saying, we saw what happened, the decision was made when during Mashujaa Day, when people were celebrating you while you were arriving there, the Deputy President, and it shows how, you know, what is on the ground. And that is what informed her decision, so that she can come and start, you know, people start focusing there, so that we can, you know, you can start competing, and if you think you can find something, you can pull down your opponent, and maybe you will want the party to intervene and say that, you know, you're the governor, you the women rep. Why can't you just shelve your ambitions so that you allow her to go for her last term, then you will come next? But I don't think that should be what, I don't think that will happen, because people must decide, as she says, democracy must take its course in the party, so that you just don't come there being part of the party so that you win. You must prove to the people, you must show your scorecards that I can deliver, this is what I've been doing, so that these people can engage you based on your performance, not based on your party. But the party is, you know, is gaining popularity everywhere, and we'll see many people joining UDA, many people.
And Lucky, so Kirinyaga Governor Waiguru, her move, many critics have argued that it is too early in the game to determine which horse to back.
Nelima, you see, parts of the same feathers flock together. The DP and Waiguru, they fall under the same feathers. So maybe that's why she has joined her.
What kind of feathers?
You see, if you see the nature of their politics, the nature of their character, you see, like, for example, they are all involved in corruption.
Allegedly?
Yeah, it's normally, they are accused of corruption, all of them. So maybe that's why they are leaning towards that. Another thing I want to state, Nelima, is that they may be the kicks of a dying horse, the last kicks. Because if you listen to the people of Kirinyaga, they are saying they will elect somebody based on the performance. And many of them are saying that even if Waiguru joins the UDA, maybe she will not clinch the seat. Because maybe of the poor performance, the corruption is involved. You see now she's already claiming that maybe she's being witch-hunted because she has jump-shifted the politics, or she has boarded another bandwagon. But you see, the truth is, already Waiguru was accused of corruption. And the CIDs were already following her. So you see, maybe they are just looking for a way of reaching her. Maybe they were saying that the case was still under investigation. So I think it will be wrong for her to claim that maybe they are following her because she has defected. Because, okay, it's just, I may just say, if maybe she would not have been involved in corruption and she defected, who then will be following her? For what purpose?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nelima,
and so
he has made several allegations which we can't just let it go. He's saying that these people, they are corrupt. You know, the other day, if you know, history serves as well, we remember when there was a motion in Parliament to impeach her, and we saw her going somewhere to be sanitized, which is on record. And after that, those allegations failed, and you know, she has not been, you know, prosecuted for the same, and the recommendations in the Senate says the DCI can investigate and prosecute if they find anything that is not tallying to what you know, she as the county assembly members were alleging. And we saw people are calling on her to sit down with the members of county assembly in her county, and everything collapsed. And we saw the other day some people escorting her to the revolving door and saying that we are wooing her and we want her to join our party. And that time she was not corrupt, and it saddens me because we saw it. And right now she's being corrupt, and because she's working with Ruto, and Ruto is corrupt in public domain, and you know, it's not something that we have subjected to the law that found him corrupt.
So you do think it's a witch hunt?
It's I won't go to that trajectory where you're inviting me to, but I just want us to analyze these issues and understand exactly what we are talking about. We have the Constitution under Article 38. It allows every person to participate and join any political party of their choice. Right. And you cannot discriminate her because she was alleged to have committed crime, and which crime has not been proven. If she had been proven, she would be in jail somewhere, and we won't be talking about her. But if someone wants to join a party, feels that you know, her principles, her policies aligns with the party's policies, then you cannot just stop her because of you know, what was said about her, which has not been proven. You are always innocent until proven guilty. We cannot judge you in public agora. We have to let the law take its course, and that is a problem. We have been using criminal justice to fight political gains and political goals. Because look, this is someone who is corrupt. I would have loved to see the criminal justice taking its course, and to ensure that she answers to the question raised, and if found guilty, she needs to go to jail. But remember, when the issues are brought, she goes to another politician, he goes to the former prime minister, and mysteriously these charges drops, and then when he leaves, these charges mysteriously appears. So what are we learning about our criminal system, justice system? It is not serving its purpose. We should not be seeing events happening. You know, the timing of this event is a problem, because why just wait until this time? You know, people will bring politics into it, and they might be true. They might be true.
In other words, you're still calling it a political witch hunt in many words.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, so and then finally, then do you think Waiguru stands a chance under the UDA ticket to win governor in Kirinyaga?
Okay, before I reach there, I don't know much about this thing you are calling UDA, because
it's a political party, my friend.
Let me just finish my point. You see, people are defecting to UDA. And the leader of that UDA is the deputy president. And he himself has not defected. He's still in Jubilee. So that's why I fail to understand why should you defect to a party whose leader is still another party. And if Waiguru could have defected, I'm not blaming her for defecting, because she's saying that she has listened to the ground. Maybe that's what the ground is demanding. But the truth is, if you defect to another political party, you were talking about the Constitution. What does the Constitution say about that? She was to resign and recontest again.
It's the political party
act.
act.
Party.
It's a political party act.
Yes.
Yeah, not the Constitution.
So
not the
she should be resigning. Yeah.
And that is within their in-house, Jubilee in-house matters. We cannot decide for them.
But Jubilee and UDA are different political parties.
Yes. So the Jubilee party, they need to, to whip him if they feel like she has left, she's still a governor using that ticket, and she has left. So they are the one to, we saw it happening with the Maura, we saw it happening when you change allegiance to, to another party. But they need to discipline you.
We do have to wrap up the conversation. So I'd just like your thoughts on whether Waiguru stand a chance, and is she a possible deputy president for Ruto when he vies for presidency, the running mate? In very few words.
I cannot choose a deputy president for the deputy president, William Ruto.
Okay, let's say the running mate, if he vies come next year.
I can't choose for him a running mate. It will be within his own thoughts and minds. He will have to weigh and choose a running mate.
Okay. Yes, very briefly.
Yes, I think the choice of Kirinyaga people on who should be their leader, we leave to them, and they will decide. They have seen Waiguru as a governor, and they have seen Ngirishi as a woman rep, and they have seen Mother Karua as a spokesperson of Mount Kenya region, and they will decide. I think they have that capacity of deciding who should lead them. And on the issue of having Waiguru as a running mate, I think the deputy president has the right to choose whoever he feels comfortable working with. But I don't see it happening, because you can't just come and expect to be the running mate of this candidate. He has his own criteria of choosing who he should work with.
But the mountain is
I can't see
commands a lot of the Mount Kenya region commands a lot of votes. So and
there are many other people who qualifies in Mount Kenya region to be the running mate, and any other place. So it's not about Waiguru.
Yeah, it commands a lot of votes, yes, but Waiguru is not the kingpin of Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Currently, we still have the president as the kingpin of Mount Kenya. And another thing that I can say is that Waiguru did not defect because she wanted to be a running mate. She has categorically stated that she defected in order to defend her seat as Kirinyaga governor.
Okay, we will be watching the events as they unfold.
So we should not read
Thank
too
you so much. That's why you're here, to analyze and just to see the possibilities.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Lucky Oundo, political analyst, and Nancy Nelima, political commentator. We've come to the end of the Week in Focus. Today we were looking at Kirinyaga Governor Waiguru defecting to the UDA party, and of course the IEBC preparedness come the 2022 general elections. I am Nancy Nelima. Thank you so much for watching.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893
542 or send us an email to views@look-up.tv. We can't wait to hear from you.
Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements.